and welcome, friends. I hope everybody's had a great day so far. If you were new here, welcome. And if you're back, welcome back. I greatly appreciate all of the ongoing support. This is my channel, Dragonsjewel, and I'm Tegan, and I'm just going to get all that wonderful YouTubey stuff out of the way first. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please consider doing so. It's just down below. If you like the content that you see, don't forget to hit like. And of course, any love, comments, suggestions, all those wonderful things, there's that comment section down there as well. Today, you can see I've got a diamond painting here in front of me, so I'm getting ready to do a good old wip&chat here. And WIP just stands for work in progress. And I chat and catch everybody up on kind of the last, 2 weeks, I think? I don't know anymore. May 17th basically is where we left off. I do apologize, I don't know how long this little wip&chat is going to be. And Ace is just getting comfier. I'm feeling kind of tired and drained, and we're flipping from May into June, and my husband flipped the calendar, but then it's one where you have the tearaway sheet, so then he just kind of tossed me, and so I can't really go back and track everything, so I just tried to remember what I could, which when I'm tired and drained isn't always the easiest, so I probably missed something, I'm sure, but we're just going to dive in, we're going to get going. I'm going to start working here on this diamond painting, which is Magic Potions. I'm a little more than halfway through it now, so we're kind of working towards the tail end. This one has been a big one, but I have loved working on each section and seeing it come to life and all of the little details in each section, and I'm really looking forward to when it's completed and I can unroll it and see it all as one big thing. It's just going to be amazing. And then of course find it at home, because after working on it for this long, it's definitely going to get hung up somewhere. I'm thinking probably maybe out in the living room or something, because that's probably where the best amount of wall space for a kit this big is. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now. So let's try to see. What I've recalled pretty much is my neighbor has been working away on the fence between us. He came to the door one day when I was home and just said he would like to kind of start working on the fence between our properties there, and would it be okay basically if he stepped on our property while working on it, kind of thing. As if I would ever say no to him. His kids often end up accidentally getting their ball over the fence, and I don't know how many times I've told the kids, you don't need to ring the doorbell, Nash, just go on back, grab your ball, that kind of thing. But they're always very polite and ask regardless. So yeah, that's what he did, and of course I was okay with that. Then we've since kind of spoken to them. He's almost all done now. He's got about, I think, 3 sections of fence to work on, and then kind of like his little front bit, because he'll be doing that as well. Of course, he's doing all of his fencing. So yeah, he's almost all done that. He's been plugging away at it each weekend, because he works full time, that kind of thing. So yeah, we've talked to him. We've kind of arranged, once he's all done, cost of materials, so that we can kind of figure out how to split the costs with him, because that is something that we were going to work on this summer anyways. When my hubby had a little bit more downtime, he just kind of beat us to it. And I mean, my husband would have done the work himself, so I mean, either way it would just be materials for each of us. So yeah, this is kind of worked out nicely. Last fall, our neighbors on the other side, he had a buddy of his who had a bunch of days off, and they just hacked it out in one weekend. So yeah, that side's already been done, so that's kind of nice. So this is the last little bit of our poor sad old fence that needs to be fixed and replaced. So yeah, that's been coming along, and of course I have a nosy doggo, because the side that's working on the fence now is where we have little dog pen set up so that we can just kind of let our dogs out, and then they go bathroom in that little area. And so obviously we cleaned that up before he got to that portion and was stepping over on the property and whatnot. But because it is the dog pens, when we let the dogs out on that side, our neighbor has actually kind of very strategically worked on that side of the fence. He's kind of left the old fence leaning and got the posts in and set, and then kind of knocked out the sections when the dogs aren't out, and we kind of keep them out when we know he's working on those sections. So I mean, it's worked really well. And then in between, if he doesn't get to actually doing the sections and it's just the posts, it's still blocked off, so our dogs can't get through or out anywhere. So that's kind of nice, although it does leave a little bit more gapping than usual. And one day neighbor was out there doing whatever, and of course the dogs went out, and Ace, being Ace and loving life and everybody, had to of course run over, discovered the gap, discovered our neighbor doing stuff right kind of close by the gap, and decided to kind of stick his nose through and say hello. Let our neighbor know he was there. Yeah, so he's been saying hello to our neighbor that way. And also before our neighbor got to the dog pen, he was out in the dog pen, and he would just stand there and watch him work on the other bit of the fencing at the back. So yeah, he's been enjoying his entertainment, I guess you could call it. Fence, that's been an ongoing thing for the past couple of weekends here. Muchly needed. Be nice once it's done, because that means both sides of the fences are done until, you know, it's time to build the fence again. All that good stuff. What else happened in that time? The kid had a weekend where my parents weren't able to take him for their usual overnight sleepover that they like to do, and because they had registered Axel, their Weimenheimer, into a dog show, because they are doing showing with him to try and get his champion points. So that's what they've been working on. And in order to get champion points, they have to beat other Weimenheimers in the dog shows, dog rings kind of thing. And so far, they haven't been up against any other Weimenheimers up until that weekend. He had won Best of Puppy Groups, which really just kind of got him some bragging rights and a ribbon. And the practice, obviously, the practice of being in that environment and what to expect, and kind of got my mom more familiar with what's expected of her, what she needs to do to get him to do what he needs to do, that kind of thing. She's had a very lovely group of ladies who are the breeder itself that she got Axel through, and others who have Weimenheimers through this breeder who also show their dogs. Really just kind of help her, walk her through the steps, help her practice, help guided her even at the shows, because they were both at the show. One of his sisters and dad were at the show, as well as another lady who has a Weimenheimer, who's apparently the one who goes to all of these shows and is hard to beat. She's won numerous times, and she's pretty seasoned at it. So yeah, they were up against her as well. So that was fun. I kind of got the updates after their long days. After their long days there, Axel ended up doing really, really good. My parents are quite happy with that weekend. He beat his sister on 2 of the 3 days. His sister had won in a previous Weimenheimer dog show, so she already had a point going in. And then she won the one day, kind of in their little group. So that's lovely. He came out with 2 points that weekend by the end of it all, which is a great start, because in order to be get the championship title in dog shows, he has to win, was it 10 points from 3 different judges, I think my mom said. So right now I think he had 2 different judges that weekend. If I recall, that he won with. So basically, right now he just needs 1 additional judge and 8 points. They're getting there. They're accomplishing that goal, which is kind of fun to see, and working hard at it, and then giving themselves good downtime in between. I think that's the last dog show my mom's kind of got him booked into going for at the moment. She's kind of ready for a little bit of break, because she did a bunch just recently. Some were just for fun and practice, and then this one, which was actual him competing, and he got some points. So yeah, the kid was home with us, of course, that weekend, and so we decided to go to one of our local dog parks and take Ace to kind of get a run in, stretch some legs, socialize with some other doggies, and my goodness, he was so excited. It was on a really warm day too, but he was so excited. He had a few people laughing at him when he came enthusiastically rip-roaring into the main park field, and then eagerly running up to saying hello to everybody and every dog that he could possibly find in the vicinity. They just kind of laughed and said somebody's excited, and of course I chuckled, going, always, because it's so true. It could have been barely busy and he would still be rushing up to everyone and every dog with the same enthusiasm as if it was completely crowded. Which makes him look a little chaotic at first, but eventually he does kind of wear off that energy the further we go along, and kind of ends up doing his little sploots and relaxes, and then gets up as things interest him, which really doesn't take much with him. It's usually just a new dog coming into the area he's in that he wants to go say hi to, or that kind of thing. So he had lots of fun. And then we had taken him down by there's like a little, it's on the edge of a river where we go. So they have kind of a little path that goes down that way, and then you can let the dogs in, and when the current's kind of calmer, and the ice is of course not there after winter break and all of that. So we were headed that way. Then the little bugger remembered from last time we were there, and went rip-roaring down a side path to get to the water quicker, and so we had to go pretty much bushwhacking after him and calling him back. So yeah, he kind of then got put on leash, even though it's an off-leash dog park, and we walked to the proper path to go down. And it was only then that he was finally let back off leash. So I think that's probably something we're going to have to do from now on, just until he kind of learns a little bit better not to just go rip-roaring down there because he knows it's there. He absolutely loves it, of course. When we finally did get there, he was playing with all the other dogs. There were a bunch of dogs down there because it was a really warm day. Like, I mean, really warm. I think it was plus 28 or 29 Celsius or something like that day. So it was pretty warm, and it was a little bit earlier in the day, so it was a little bit cooler than the highest temp, but climbing the longer we were there, obviously. So we figured he would enjoy that. Lapped up the water, played in the water. We were just about getting ready to leave. We managed to get him called away, and coming back up the hill towards the path to go back towards the car, when a group of people and dogs showed up, and all of a sudden I just hear somebody call out, "Hobo!" And I'm going, Okay, well, that's weird. That was one of his names that his foster family had ever called him, and only his foster family ever called him that. But the voice wasn't either one of the foster family people. When I looked up, and it didn't sound like them anyways, but when I looked up, it definitely wasn't them. It was another lady. And of course, I kind of went, well, it was one of his names, because he was on the site as Hawk. But yeah, his foster family called him Hobo, because that's what they thought he would looked like. But yeah, so when she called his name, I was like, well, that's weird, because to my knowledge, that's the only people that know that name. So how does she know? How does she know, right? And of course, I said it was, because now he's named Ace. Only to find out that she's part of the rescue organization as, I think she called it an outpost position or something like that. So basically, she's the one who shows up to foster families here on the west end of our city and makes sure that if they're unable to drive all the way to the other side of the city for the food supplies, the treats, that kind of thing, she brings them to them. So she had obviously at some point met Ace when he was with the organization. So yeah, she knew who he was, and she actually had one of his sisters. He's got 2 sisters and 3 brothers that he came in as a stray with. So yeah, she actually originally fostered one of his sisters, and she became a foster failure for them, so they own her, and she was there. So we got to meet his one sister. Looks nothing like him at all, but they definitely remembered each other. They ran out and said hi and kind of hung out for a bit, and were very interested in seeing each other again. So that was kind of cool. Ace has almost like shepherd coloring, and then he's got very much the head shape and more of the body type of like a pity or bully type breed. He's a mix. We have no idea what he actually really is, but that's kind of our best guess right now based off how he looks and our knowledge of dog breeds. So we could certainly be very, very wrong. And we could be even missing a breed or that kind of thing. But yeah, so he got to see his sister that he hasn't seen forever, and we stayed just a little bit longer because, of course, that drew him right back down to the river. Because he's like, oh, mom's distracted and busy now, so I'm going to sneak back down and play with my sister at the river and the other dogs again. So, of course, he did that. But yeah, so it was kind of neat talking to her. She was quite thrilled, of course, to see him and see how he was doing and all that good stuff. And the timing was perfect, really. What else? I think that was kind of really it. Eventually, we did get him away from the water and truck him back towards the car, which was still a little bit of a walk, and then kind of going through the field, which now he is a wet dog running up and saying hello to everybody, which some people at this dog park kind of, keep their hands away, and you can tell that they don't want a wet dog saying hello to them necessarily. Even though it's not that they don't like dogs, they just don't want to get wet. And then, of course, other people who, like us, own dogs, let our dogs get wet, really don't care and will love on them anyways, even though they're soaking wet and smelling wet dog. So yeah, he still got some love. Most people gave him loves on the way back, and then it kind of lets him, because it was such a warm day, he mostly dried off by the time we got back to the car anyways. And then we pretty much left the park, and so that was our little doggy park day. My hubby was working, as I had mentioned before. I shut down, and overtime hours and all of that, that's now, that's been over for a little bit now. So I think this was the first week that he was back to what would be considered a more normal schedule for his trade and job sites. He hasn't been on this schedule in forever because he's been working nothing but shutdowns, it seems. So we're hoping it lasts and it'll be a nice change. But now he's doing 4/10s and not Monday through Thursday, giving him the Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Yes, it's still a somewhat long day, but that's very typical of the trades and area he works in. So he's used to that. At least it gives him the 3-day weekend. So yeah, he's quite happy about that. I'm happy about that. Like I said, I've been very just drained and exhausted, and I've had no energy, and it doesn't seem to matter what I've tried to do sleep-wise or downtime here at home. It just hasn't been enough to really get myself re-energized and recharged and kind of back to my normal self. I'll admit it, I'm a little bit of a cranky, grumpy, miserable person to kind of be around. Everything's kind of been setting me off and kind of ticking at my nerves the wrong way, and I've had very, very low patience for a lot of things because of it. So it's definitely time for a much needed break. And of course, the best way I thought of that was to maybe try to give myself a little bit of a vacation somehow. So after talking with my husband, he's like, yes, please go get some of your sanity back. Like, he can tell I need it right now. So he's fully said it. We've kind of set a little budget for it, which is probably going to be more than enough. Definitely. But I started looking around, kind of figuring, okay, what could I do? I didn't want to go too far if I was driving, or I didn't want a super long flight that was super expensive, as I was only looking at going for a weekend, because that's my husband. He's still working, so he still has to be at work on Monday. Obviously, my kid still has school during the week, and of course I wouldn't be taking him, that kind of thing. So there were still some kind of things I had to work around, and then obviously there were certain weekends as well that I had prior commitments to, stuff like that. So like this weekend I'm going to a witch's market, which is kind of a little market at a community hall here in the city, and it is, yes, catered towards people who practice the craft, but it's also a very eclectic market. It can be, if you're spiritual and kind of dive into some of those witchy type things too, it's a good market to go to. There's also some more normal vendors. Like there's a guy there who makes honey locally, really good honey. So there's that. It's a little bit of like a vendor's type market, so I like to check that out every so often. The vendors don't change up a ton, so I don't go every month that they have it. I like to go every couple of months, kind of check out what's new. Occasionally they'll have a new vendor as well by that time, so then I'll get to see somebody new as well and what they have to offer. The vendors that are usually there sometimes have new stuff by that point too that they've added to their market tables, different ideas and stuff that they've come up with. This market, there's usually one or two vendors, honestly, that have some crystals. They have somebody who mixes oils and tinctures and stuff like that, sprays, so aromatherapy type things, if you will. There's usually tarot cards. There's a guy who does tea leaf readings. There's usually somebody who does card readings there as well. So if you want any sort of readings done, they have somebody there who does that quite frequently. There's a little tattoo shop that comes out. Someone from a tattoo shop, and they provide flash art that kind of coordinates with the style theme of the market. So if you want to get yourself a quick little tattoo, there's that. So there's a bunch of neat little stuff there as well. There's some clothing, there's some jewelry makers, a whole bunch of things to kind of check out, so that's fun. I've gone to it a couple of times. My mom came with me a couple of months back and she got some honey. My aunt was very, very interested in going, so this time she's going to be coming along with me and checking it out because she's curious and she loves to shop, and so I'm sure she'll find something, or she'll just have fun getting out. She's the one who lives locally and broke her wrist. She still got it on, although I think her cast is coming off soon, which she is looking forward to. She is over and done with it now. So yeah, we have that coming up. So that was kind of a pre-commitment thing that I had to work around, and then like 2 weeks from that, I had committed to taking my aunt. My mom's going to be away down camping where my sister lives, kind of southern Alberta area, so she wasn't able to go, but she normally would join us in an adventure like this. So it's just going to be me and my aunt. But there's a local rescue who's doing a fundraising book sale. That's super close to my house. So I'm going to go pick up my aunt, and we're both avid readers, so we'll check out that book sale. Hope probably buy a book or two and kind of support the local rescue as well. So yeah, there's some commitments like that, and of course my parents being away and other little events and stuff like that that I had to work around. But I did manage to find a open weekend that was available with accommodations, so I've booked myself a little solo getaway. I guess you can kind of call it like my own little retreat is what it's going to turn into. It's about, the area it's in is about an hour and a half drive. It's by a bunch of our local lakes. It's kind of in an area that has a couple of smaller towns and beaches and campgrounds and stuff like that. So this one is very close to, I think it's two beaches or 3 beaches. But yeah, there's a couple of different beaches that I could go to during the day if I want, depending on what the weather's going to be like. There's a couple of little towns I can go explore. And basically it is out on someone's working ranch. So they have, I think it's something like hundreds of acres of land, and they're a working ranch. And so what they've done is, aside from where they do all of their ranching, they've taken a piece of their land and turned it into kind of a little spot where they have set up, I think, seven different little rustic cabins that they rent out. Yeah, 7 little cabins, rustic cabins that they rent out, and each little cabin has, much like hotel rooms, some sleep more, some sleep less, but ultimately each cabin has a little fireplace, a little type of kitchen, sleeping spot, a private bathroom, and then outside, close to the cabin, off to kind of the side, they have their own little private fire pits and picnic tables. And then they each has like a little kind of porch or patio that you can kind of come out onto. So one of the cabins I decided to rent. It is a little bit of one of the newer ones, and it also includes a smart TV, so I can bring, I think they said it was Netflix or Apple, so for me it would be Netflix. But you bring your password with you, and then you can log in and watch something if you want in the evenings. But yeah, so I have a little kitchen. There's barbecue as well, so I can cook up some of my own little meals. I can relax out on the porch. I can go relax by a fire pit or a picnic table, kind of just on their site. As well as if I arrange with them before I go, I can arrange to see any of the farm animals that are obviously friendly and comfortable enough around strangers and people that don't handle them all the time, with, of course, their supervision, because not everybody who goes out to these places are used to farms, so they want to keep, obviously, their livestock and animals and stuff safe as well. But I can prearrange that. If you are physically able and interested, they also do roping lessons, like the rodeo kind of roping lessons. They do, you can ride one of their horses if you arrange for that. So they have a couple of like more ranch type events that you can get yourself set up to do as well in this particular place that I'm staying. But also, apparently I've read, anyways, that there's a hill on the property where and by on the property, not obviously their property, but the cabin side of the property, where they set up like a little kind of tourist spot. So they've reconstructed 3 different buildings. I guess one's a church, and I'm not sure what the other 2 were. I couldn't quite, nobody really said what they were, because they just always mentioned this little church. But 2 other buildings that they've replicated to kind of honor the history of the area. So I'll probably go and figure out exactly where that is and check that out as well while I'm there. So that's just stuff to do right on their property. I'll probably, of course, head over to one of the beaches. And then there's one of the little small town that sounds like there's like a little donut bakery shop there. There's 2 little clothing stores, an eclectic little kind of looking, sounding gift shop. So I will probably head to that place that's only like 15 minutes away from the cabin. So I'll probably do that while I'm there. Anything, I might try to get a hold of them just before I go and see if it would be possible to see maybe some of their farm animals. I know they've got goats and horses for sure, and cows and stuff. So I'll maybe see if there's a time that I'm there that'll work for that. And then yeah, the rest of the time will pretty much be, I'll probably kick back at the cabin. Yeah, I know, read a book or 2, enjoy the fireplace, maybe the fire pit. I'll have to check out any fire bans and what the weather's like, obviously, prior to see if that's a possibility. And then, of course, let them know to bring over some wood, which is extra cost, but then it's loaded right up next to the fire pit for you, so that's perfect. Just ready to go, already pre-cut, all that good stuff. So yeah, we'll have to figure that out. That might be a possibility. Yeah, and I'll probably bring something crafty. That's where I'm torn, is on the crafty side, because like normally I think, oh, let's bring a diamond painting. This is the diamond painting I'm working on. It's a big one. Yes, I could roll it up, bring it, all of that stuff. Or I could take a little DP break and bring some of my pixels or different type craft work on that's still just as fun. One of my paint by numbers. I haven't worked on those in forever, so part of me is kind of thinking, well, do I bring one of those to work on? I could bring some of my adult coloring, choose a book or two, and bring a bunch of my pencils or markers. So yeah, there's quite a few different crafty down projects that I could bring. So I am thinking something, I'm just not sure what yet by way of that. Yeah, I am thinking, I don't know, or I could bring smaller diamond painting projects, like one of my special drills, or my coasters, or my keychains, or any of those. Yeah, so I don't know, or I can bring a combination, have more than one type thing, which is probably more likely what I will do. Just to kind of change it up. I also have my cross stitch that I need to finish, so I might bring that. Yeah, so I'm thinking more and more that I might leave my diamond painting at home, this big one anyways, and bring something that's just a little bit smaller with me, even though I have the little tube and everything to bring this big one. And part of me still wants to bring this big one, just to kind of get some more sections knocked out of it, because I'll definitely have enough time for that. I don't know, part of me also wants to take advantage of getting some other things done that, because when I usually have something like this in front of me, I tend to kind of almost forget about, put off to the side and say, oh, I'll work on that later. So there's that. So yeah, basically I haven't quite decided yet what little crafty project or projects I'm going to pack up and bring with me. It's a tough one, but I'll figure it out. I still got a bit of time. It's not this weekend, it's next weekend coming up for that trip. So I still got some time to figure all that out, which will be good. Of course, with that being said, that brings us into all of our wonderful channel updates. That will be a weekend where I will normally put up my Ghostly Echoes series. I've been so busy, so drained, I haven't even began to film anything for it, unfortunately. So either I tighten up the hatches and really give her and get all that filming and out and ready to go in the next week, which the kiddo has Monday off. It's a PD day or something like that. I can't even keep track of those anymore, but yeah, he's got one of those coming up on Monday here, so he's got a little bit of a long weekend as it is. So we'll see how that goes. No guarantees that that'll make it out in time before I go on my little vacation. I will do my best, of course. If not, though, do know that I will definitely put some sort of video out for you. I've got tons of videos to get out, way more than I allot myself for in a week for sure. So definitely no lack of video content to get out. It just might not be my usual Ghostly Echoes that might get postponed a week. And then, yeah, the usual stuff now is Facebook. Join us over there if you haven't already. It's a quaint little group at the moment, but we're sharing our diamond paintings, our crafty projects, anything kind of related to that as well is welcomed. Occasionally you can even show off your furry little supervisors, because we know quite a few of us have those as well. You're more than welcome to share those. Yeah, it's just kind of a fun little place to hang out, socialize, interact with everybody who's a part of the channel and this little community. So if you haven't joined us over there, definitely join us. Eventually, hopefully once it gets big enough, that's going to become the spot where events will take place, all of that kind of things. All those kind of things. So you can't even speak English properly at the moment. All of those things will happen. So yeah, it's definitely has to get there first. But yeah, in the meantime, it's just a fun little place to kind of hang out and get to know everybody and all of that good stuff. So don't be shy. Come on over, join us. We'd love to have you. Of course, subs now are at about the 472 range, so we're a little bit more than 25. We're about 28 roughly people away from hitting that next goal. So let's keep climbing towards that, because that'll be the next little giveaway. My chance to give back to everybody who takes the time to watch my videos, which I greatly appreciate. The people that share out the channel, the people who like the videos, who comment on the videos, that kind of thing. Definitely without you, this channel wouldn't be here, wouldn't be still going. Yeah, so I think that is about it for this whip and chat. There's nothing additional that I can think of to add for kind of the channel or what my last 2 weeks has been like. So I'm going to leave the video at this, edit it, get it up, all that good stuff. And of course, I'll see you in the next video with something new. Bye.